Thank you very much, Biju Verghese, my friend who has persuaded me to come and join you all this morning. Faculty, students, friends, I am not planning to take too long with all of you today because unfortunately I am due in another city in a very short while. But I would like to congratulate this institution and all those associated with it for their remarkable achievements over the last 36 years since this institution was established. I was about to say a few words in appreciation of Dr. M.C. Verghese, but it seems that everything I was planning to say has already been said by your distinguished principal. But just to hail him once more as somebody who built himself up from the bottom, established a hugely popular weekly and then daily, managed at the same time to start educational institutions, 7 of them, as his son has explained to us, and subsequently performed extraordinary acts of charity, including doing a lot for the homeless, constructing homes for those without shelter, arranging dowryless community marriages, forming charitable societies for the free treatment of cancer and kidney patients, and so on. So we are remembering today somebody who deserves to be honored for his contributions in media, in charity, and in education. And I'm very privileged then to be able to say a few words to you on the subject of youth and nation building that I've been asked to address briefly today with all of you. I have to say that it's a slightly odd choice of speaker because after all, you are all far more qualified by age than I am to speak about youth and what youth can do. But the involvement of youth in political participation and in building up our nation is something that I think all of us in politics are obsessed with, and so I will add very much. I will add sort of my own contributions of thoughts to this subject, while at the same time saying that my profession is particularly notorious for not giving youth an opportunity, other than in shall we say ghettoized silos like the Youth Congress or the Kerala Students' Union and their equivalents in other parties. We don't do enough to give youth the opportunity to participate seriously. It's striking that we have practically no MPs below the age of 30, and anyone who gets elected at that age is bound to be the son or daughter of another politician who passed away prematurely. Otherwise, there is going to be no chance for them to be elected. We are looking at a situation where not even 20% of our MPs are below the age of 45. So how can we talk of youth in any meaningful sense? And the sad truth is that even while our Lok Sabha was dramatically renewed in the elections of 2014 with the victory of a party that had not been so prominent, and therefore a lot of new faces came in, very few young people came in with them. They were all veterans who got elected. So the highest ever proportion of older candidates was elected when the BJP came to power. And it's quite surprising, but it's the actual mathematical fact. And today, we have continued to hold the world record. India holds the world record for the largest gap between the average age of the population and the average age of the cabinet. Today, we have a population that's barely 29 years old on average, and we have a cabinet that's 63 years old on average. So you can imagine that there are very few countries in the world like that. And former Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee famously said that in India, a politician is born at the age of 50, becomes a teenager in his 60s, and enters his youth only in his 70s. That is unfortunately still the reality of Indian politics a quarter of a century later. But I want to say to all of you, the reason that I want you all to be involved in nation building is because politics is not just about election victories and defeats, which is all we're talking about so far. Politics is also about the kind of nation you want to live in, the kind of country you want to build, the values and principles that are the codes by which our nation lives, and equally important, the choice of the politicians, the political leaders, who will determine the choices you have when you get ready to leave college and go into the world. Whenever I hear a college student or even a high school student say to me, "Sir, I'm not interested in politics," my immediate reaction is, sorry, Politics is interested in you. So you better not take the position that you can stay away from it, because politicians are making decisions that affect every one of the options available to you. Whether you are studying a wide range of subjects, whether you have opportunities to get into a job that deals with foreign countries, whether you are paying a level of taxes that makes it possible for you to live on the balance of your salary, whether you are paying high taxes for your fuel, for your scooter or your car or whatever you're using to get around, or your auto rickshaw for that. All of these are decisions made by politicians. So for you to say you're not interested is to abdicate your own responsibility for the kinds of decisions that are made that affect your lives. And that's why it's extremely important that you understand that the decisions that are being taken by governments every day about you, about your family, are decisions made by politicians. These will affect your personal opportunities. They will affect what kind of investments come into your city, into your state, or where the investments come. What kind of revenues are used and reused? What kind of debt you will have to be paying in the future. When our government here overspends so that it has the highest percentage of debt of any state government in the country, who do you think is going to pay the bill? You are. So you should have a say in what your government is doing in your name. It may not be your parents who have to pay right now because the government wants their votes today. But 10 years from now, 20 years from now, the bill will come due and you will be paying it. So please understand that it's extremely important to see what politicians can do and not do. And in India, we have this other deplorable practice that politicians get involved in your daily lives, telling you who you can love, who you can marry, what you can eat, what you can't eat, what kind of music you can listen to, what kind of clothes you can wear. Are you going to allow them that freedom, or are you going to stand up for your own rights? That's also politics. That's also part of nation building. So whenever you ask yourself, oh, I'm not interested in politics, those are all different people, ask yourself, how are they affecting my life? And you'll realize the answer is that everything that you're doing from morning to evening has been touched in one way or the other by decisions taken by politicians. Now, I think it's extremely important, therefore, to have a vision of what you believe in. What do I believe in? I'm unashamedly calling myself an old-fashioned liberal. I have this attitude that I must accept people as I find them. I don't believe it's my job to change people from what they are. I'm not going to judge people for what they are. They should be free to say and do, to be and to become whatever they choose, so long as they don't harm others in the process. So, if somebody wants to have a different kind of lifestyle, that's their privilege. If somebody wants to go beyond the social conventions when it comes to living with people or marriage or sex or whatever, that's their business. I don't believe a politician should be deciding what people can or cannot do, provided they don't hurt anyone else in the process. And the same applies for religion. It is not my business what religion each of us practice. I can see in this room, just by your attire and your appearance, there are people of very many different faiths. That is, to my mind, the strength of India. I celebrate India's diversity. Our pluralism is what makes us strong. I'm not trying to at all agree with those politicians who want to reduce India to one color, one religion, one language, one leader. That kind of thinking, to my mind, is retrogressive and takes our country backwards. So all of these things, to my mind, are what we should do when we think in terms of our attitude to each other and to society. We must make it easier for each of you to deal with other human beings with all backgrounds who may or may not be like you. And at the same time, I would encourage you not just to approach people that way, but to ensure that the politicians you vote for also follow those standards. Do not find yourself being led by people who are not worthy of you. I could say very much more, but we are already pressed for time. I will try and just point out a couple of basic facts. Our country is already your country. More than 50% of our population is under 25. Those of us sitting on this podium, we are the minority. You are the majority in this country. And at the same time, the policies are being made for you by people who have no idea what you're going through, what your needs and wants are, what your preferences are. I believe, for example, that it's high time we actually try to introduce a law that would reserve a certain number of seats in Parliament for people under 30. Force our old politicians to listen to the views and points of view of the young. That, to my mind, is extremely important. Youth unemployment, to my mind, is a great problem. Kerala is the worst example in the country. Whereas we have a record level of unemployment in the country of sort of 8.7%, in Kerala it is 40% amongst the youth. Amongst young people under 25 or working age, about 19, 40% are unemployed. That is unacceptable. We have to create policies that attract industry, that attract companies to come to our state and make it possible for Keralites to live and work here. Otherwise, what do we see? So many young people I meet, and I keep getting invited to colleges, to convocations, to functions like this. And young people, when I have interactions with them, sadly today I don't have time, but normally I insist on interaction with the students. Many of them say that their ambition is to go abroad or at least go to another state after graduating. And I say, if I want to stay in Kerala, the answer that comes back to me that really struck me very hard was, what is there in Kerala for us? Isn't Kerala an old age home? Now that is a very worrying prospect. Now for those of us who are getting old, it's good that Kerala is a good place to grow old. But for the rest of you, you should absolutely have something to look forward to in your own state. To be able to live, work, prosper, flourish, and raise your own children in the state. Sadly, whereas whole of India, as I said, is 50.1% under 25, in Kerala, our under 25 population is only 23%. Why? Because people have left, and of course, other young people are not being born. The gentleman in the blue shirt who got up is giving me my signal that I have to wrap up to go. But I just want to say to all of you that just as MC Verghese thought of the future, built up this college and these institutions so that you can all study and prepare yourselves for the future, I too believe that it's the duty of us in politics to involve you all in building up the future of Kerala. Kerala and India deserve young people with a vision for the future, with an appreciation of where exactly they would like to have opportunities to go forward. And I believe that my role in politics is to encourage all of you to contribute to building our nation by staying here, working together, and having the opportunities to do that and make a difference. I will be with you all the way. I want to thank you all for inviting me here today. And once again, Media Verghese, wish you all the very best for this institution. And of course, congratulations again to Dr. Sunil on her award. Thank you all very much. Jai Hind.